Good evening. If it's not evening where you are, shut up and pretend it is. I'm Jack. I'm an ancient level player, and today we're going to be going over a replay of a live coaching session that I had with a Herald 2 player, Revenge Roman, playing unranked. We're going to go over how he fucks up constantly and dies all over the place for the first 15 minutes or so, and what he's able to do to come back from that and end up with 21 kills, only dying twice after that 15-minute mark, and 50K net worth, the highest I believe he has ever had, according to what he said to me. But before we get into that, let's watch all of his fun little Herald moments in the first 15 minutes of the game, and then we will get into how he might be able to avoid having more for the remainder. Wow. Okay, no, back up, back up. You saw the Lina. You saw the Lina. There's a Lina. Watch out for the. Oh my god. This is not going to go well. Oh. Okay. All right. That watch what? All right. It's okay. That's all right. Okay. All right. He's faster than you. He's a lot. Oh, okay. Okay, and then back up and back, and you're not okay. That's yep. That was probably the best thing that's happened since like 3 minutes into the lane when he was just getting good farm. I guess he got a kill on Bane at one point, but that's his second kill trading for the enemy mid, and he actually got a lot of gold for that. He didn't get the XP though. He's still level 6. It's 14 minutes into the game, and he is going to carry and win this game. It is Herald is that forgiving that you can be like this. 16-2 is the score. 8K net worth lead at 14 minutes. He's going to be fine. So here's what he's going to do. He's got a few things he needs to focus on, most of all. First of all, when you're coming back as a carry, you need to avoid fighting. Okay, fighting is not how carries get back into the game. If you're a weaker carry, you're not going to be as good at killing heroes as normal. And so your likelihood of profiting from a fight is much lower than normal. And your likelihood of getting fucking murdered in a fight and losing money and losing time and losing space and objectives is higher than usual. So you want to avoid fighting. You don't just things that compel you to fight, you should ignore, right? If your teammates are yelling at you to fight, ignore them, mute them. If you're worried about your teammates dying or your towers falling, ignore them, okay? Outer towers do not matter at Herald. You can lose all 6 outer towers, and if that buys you 10 to 15 minutes of space, you're fucking happy. Okay? You should get lane creeps when it's safe to do so. If you can see the enemy heroes that can kill you, that can set you up to die, then you get lane creeps. If you can see those heroes somewhere other than where you are, you go and you hit lane creeps. You do this because it pushes the waves to the enemy towers. That means that you're more likely to see more enemies in the future. Okay, if you push a wave up to their tower, they might TP they might TP there to farm it, right? They might not TP there to farm it, and then their tower takes damage. And then maybe you can push their tower if they're committing to a fight. You always want to threaten towers, because when you threaten towers, you split the enemies up. And maybe what happens, this is the general plan, right, of split pushing, is I push a creep wave, I bring it to the enemy's tower. 5 enemies have run up and have started posturing to fight my team. 1 enemy is a retard and TP's back to get the farm, to defend the tower. I TP out and I go kill their team. And now you get 4 kills. You wipe their fucking team. That remaining guy now, he can't play the map or you'll kill him too. And you got money the whole time. You were getting money farming the creep wave, you TP'd back, and immediately started getting more money killing his teammates. That's the ideal play, but maybe you still can't kill his teammates. Maybe you TP back and you push the other creep wave. You are just buying time until you can kill people, and that's where the last bullet point comes in. Itemize to fight 5 enemies alone. You are the carry, and you are the only person thinking in this game. Most people are Herald because they just don't think. They are just used to playing Dota. They started not knowing what they were doing, and they never really stopped. Okay, you just need to itemize to fight 5 enemies alone. You're gonna love items like Mjolnir, like BKB, buy the fucking item, like Lincoln Sphere, like Manta Style, Hurricane Pike. These are the items that are gonna let you fight 5 enemies. Satanic. That's your goal. You're going to try and just push the game late enough that you have a ton of money and your enemies have been chasing your fucking after image around the map for ages and have no money because they've just been running around being idiots, not hitting creeps. And you are loaded and can just blast out like 2 or 3 of them in a few seconds and then kill the rest in a fair fight. That is your goal. So we're going to see how he's able to do that, how he's able to make that happen here in just a second. Going to jump to 18 minutes into the game, and we're just going to see what exactly it is that he is doing now that is different from what he's done for the first 15 minutes, and how that's going to change his effect on the game. But here again, he's just getting money. He's dodging heroes, right? There's a hero here, he doesn't care. There's a hero here, he does not care. In fact, well, he cares in that he knows those heroes aren't coming to kill him. But he is not going to go kill those heroes. He's not chasing kills. You don't get into a back into a game with kills unless you're lucky, unless your team sets them up for you. Okay, if you're as weak as he is right now, level 9, fucking, what's his net worth here? Level 9 and 4.8k net worth at 18 minutes. He is approximately, on average, 8 minutes behind right now. 7 to 8 minutes behind on his farm. So he is not going to compete with these enemy heroes who may only be 5 or 3 minutes behind, because they are heralds. They're still going to have shit farm. So he does not want to fight these heroes, even if it's a fight where like he should win. Like a Drow Ranger at level 9 walking up on a Drow Ranger at this point in the game walking up on a lone Ursa should be able to kite and kill that Ursa, but he can't. He's under leveled, right? He is saying, I am chilling now until I can fight 5 of them, because that's what I'm going to end up fighting. By the time I'm ready to fight, it's going to be team fights against 5 heroes. So what he's going for is perfect here. He's going for a Maelstrom, which is an additional farming item. Yasha is also a farming item under a Ranger. He's going to have 2 farming items, and he's saying, I'm just not fighting. If a fight happens, I'm going to lose it anyway. So I don't want to have a BKB, right? I don't want to be wasting BKB charges. I won't farm as fast if I buy a BKB right now. He wants to buy farming items, and he wants to play a farming game. He wants to accelerate himself so that he can catch up with these enemies. If these enemies are good, that's not going to happen, right? But you are not playing against good players. So she is going to come over here and farm. And farm, and farm, and farm, and farm. There's enemy heroes here, so what she does? She walks the fuck away. She lets her teammates feed. That's her mid. That's her sniper. She doesn't care. She lets that fucker die, okay? Because he's not going to carry the game for her. So he comes over here, and he pushes out the mid wave. He could have taken these Ancients. He could have pushed this wave. This wave had a hero on it. I think it was a Bane. And these Ancients don't contest the enemy. By pushing out this wave, look what he does. Send King TPs. Now what he should have done the second he sees that ring is get the fuck out of there. He also should have used his Quelling Blade to cut one of these trees here by the tower. And in doing that, he would have been able to see TPs coming through the fog. If he stands in the right position, or even if he just comes and stands over here and shoots creeps. That way you can see when an enemy starts to TP, and the second they start to TP, you run the fuck away. The Sand King has a Blink Dagger and a stun. It's very scary that this guy's TPing in. He knows the enemies are in his jungle. Oop, I meant to draw, but you can't draw when it's paused. So the enemies are up here in his jungle. That's where he's been seeing them. So the Sand King TPing in, he wants to run away from those enemies. The Sand King probably can't solo kill him, especially if he switches his treads to strength. So what he wants to do is just create distance from the players that the Sand King is going to set him up for. So what he should do is the second the Sand King TPs in, he should run down. So he successfully escapes a gank after forcing a rotation mid. That was great. That pulled heroes out of his jungle. That allowed this kill top to happen. He drew 3 heroes away from top and to mid. He took a tower. He got a couple waves of farm. And he fucking lived for it. So he shouldn't have lived because of the way he executed it. But the play itself caused that. That was the play. And you can see on the net worth here, he's already taken over. He's more farmed than the enemy supports now. That is the threshold he has reached at 22 minutes. And now, still here, he is pressuring. He sees enemies top. He saw enemies mid there, beating up his Mortling right now. He is going to hit tower. And as long as he sees Bane, as long as he sees Sand King, he knows he's fine. This Lina does not have the items to initiate, and if he'd been checking on Lina's items, he would know that. He hasn't been, but he could have been. He could have known. So we're going to see, back to his perspective, he's able to take this tower. He chooses weird times to go backwards and forwards though. Like he runs backwards, which is fine, he sees nothing. But then he runs back forwards here. He hasn't gotten any new information that indicates that this is safe to do. So what he should do is just sit back there in the trees. Because if the enemies are rotating from here, he can't be farming this hard camp. If the enemies are rotating from here, they have a fucking Mirana. They can rotate right here and just get you. And if the enemies are rotating from here, they're going to get you. But if you're standing right here in the fog, they might assume you've TP'd out. They might assume that you're safe and hidden. They might just not see you on their minimap and not come after you. But he comes back in, he gets the tower. Nobody had actually TP'd to respond like I thought Sand King would. And so he's fine. And still, he is farming. So the enemies here, you can see them kind of slithering down from the mid lane towards this triangle. So he doesn't want to take the triangle. Smart. He gets hit with an arrow because there's a ward here. And because he can't see arrows, I'm going to have like a compilation of this Mirana hitting arrows she shouldn't hit because people on this team are not looking at anything. And she goes down. That was her last death was like at 15 minutes. So she went 10 minutes without dying. Even though she died to some bullshit, okay? The gap in her deaths has increased so much just because she started playing away from the enemies. Instead of saying, I need to join this fight, I need to help these people, I need to save this tower. You don't need to do that. Stop being a fucking hero, okay? You are going to be a hero by winning the game later. He's doing great, okay? His TP is actually on cooldown because he TP'd to the tier 3 after respawning. That was a really bad play. I gave him shit for that. But now he's doing good. He's pushing this wave up. This will create space. Somebody will TP to this, or it will do tower damage, or he can join it and maybe take the tower. And then what he should be doing is coming with this wave, because he can see every hero on the enemy team, and the ones that he can't see are dead. So he should definitely be pushing this wave. But he is at the very least farming, right? That was one of those things where, like, earlier in that fight, he shouldn't have rotated because it was probably going to be a loss and he was going to feed, or at least be in a bad position and not be able to farm. And then later in that fight, he shouldn't have rotated because it was already a 1. It was a 1 fight. He was going to do nothing.
Top tower is under attack.
And so now he's farming back into his own jungle. He gets rid of that ward that killed him earlier. That's always great. If you die, like, in your own jungle, you should be like, why the fuck did they do that? Because Herald players are usually not... They're usually reactive players, okay? They only respond to what they can see. And what they can see is you sitting on the fucking map under a ward. If you're not under a ward, they're not going to guess that you're in your jungle. They're going to, like, forget you exist. They don't have object permanence in Dota 2, Herald players, generally. I mean, every once in a while they get, like, a burst of good plays. But generally speaking, if you're at the Herald rank, you are there because you're playing with people who just aren't actively thinking about their Dota games. They're just going through the motions. So here I tell him, this is a little farming, fucking up everything here. Farming trick you should be using if you have any sort of AoE clear, like a Maelstrom or like multi-shot, is you should be pulling your camps together when they're close together like this, and then using your AoE clear and clearing them both at the same time. You will clear them almost twice as fast. It's way better than just hitting them one at a time. So he retakes his outpost, and then he's like, wait, no, I need to make this stack timing, and then he hits it at 53. This is a 55 stack camp. So it doesn't stack, but it was still a good attempt, and that's the right mindset to have. And so we see him choosing to push the wave instead of farming the jungle. That's good. That's the correct play. Especially, again, when you see the enemy heroes, when your teammates are fighting them, you don't have to join your teammates as a position 1, as a position 2. Sometimes as a position 3 if you're trying to carry your games. You don't always have to join your teammates when they're fighting. Sometimes your best play is to also make a good play, right? This is good for your team. Your carry having more money is good. Your waves being more pushed out is good. And his teammates are taking a fair fight anyway. It's a 4v4. But generally, again, like, he's going to get to the point, right, where he's so fucking rich, it does not matter about his teammates. Okay, as long as he can keep the enemies from ending the game and get a lot of money, he's going to be fine here. Because these enemies are going to be really, really underfarmed, and he's going to be really overfarmed. And he's going to be able to fight just an obscene number of them, because they're not going to play correctly. But now he's got his BKB, so at this point it's like, okay, finally, fucking finally, right, you can fight now. You can actually play a little bit of Dota 2. You've got an average of 401 GPM, so your timings are pretty shit. But still, the enemies are below that, like unilaterally below that. So you're still fine. You're doing better than them. And at this point, you're kind of richer than they are. Let's see his net worth. Yeah, he's richer than the enemies. At this point, he's got these items. He can kind of take fights. BKB means he's not going to die casually to, like, spam from Lina and Sand King and Starstorm and shit. It's going to have to involve them committing Fiend's Grip on him. And if they commit Fiend's Grip on him in a fight where Sniper is present, then Sniper will probably win the fight. So he's continuing to get farm. He could honestly, at this point, be playing aggressively, be pinging his team to try and go. But as a Herald player, I think it's best if you don't do shit like that. If you let your teammates play in their comfort zone and just be rich, I think that's the way to get out of Herald. I think at maybe higher levels, maybe Crusader, maybe Guardian, higher Guardian ranks, you can start pinging your teammates to do things because they're, like, starting to get to the point where they want to do things. But at this point, like, a lot of these players just don't know the items in Dota 2. They don't know what they do. They don't know the items, the roles, all the heroes, maybe. And so they win another fight. And they are basically winning the game now. They still have a net worth deficit because these 3 retards can't hit creeps, but because those 3 retards don't hit creeps, these 2 retards are really rich. And so they're probably going to win the game because these are the carries. This guy, like, this Bane having all this fucking money is terrible. Like, where did he get this money? He probably stole it from somebody who could use it better. One of these 3 fucks, right? If these 3 fucks had all of Bane's money, this game would be better. This Bane doesn't do anything. And the enemies bash themselves again. They've suddenly, when Heralds realize they're in trouble, they start to do really stupid shit. right? They're like, oh shit, these enemies are outscaling us. We gotta end the game now. Let's run as 5 up their high ground and see what happens. Like, they're gonna fucking kill you, right? That's not how you win games. We'll talk about how to win games like that later, because that's a really common issue. But like, at this point, these heroes are outscaling these heroes. These heroes should not be trying to take fights. They are weaker. Here they get jumped, he's got a BKB. So otherwise he's 100% dead. But he pops his BKB and he's not slowed and he's able to walk away from the Ursa. So him and Sniper just fucking fish in a barrel these guys. Shit's going great. And at this point he's stronger, right? He's made the comeback. The enemy net worth has completely leveled out, and honestly, the net worth focus is on Sniper and Drow on the Dire team. And so they're actually ahead, I would say, effectively, right? The heroes who need the money have the money on the Dire team, and the heroes who need the money don't have the money on the Radiant team. They push into him, he's Drow Ranger. He kills them all. And now the Dire are winning the fucking game. They get the next Aegis. Aegis is fucking excellent because it means even if you make a serious fucky wucky and have to sit in the forever box, you actually just get to open the lid and get back out of it, which is great because like Bane ult doesn't come back just because you come back with Aegis. Here we're a little nervous. It's like, oh, you got some dead teammates, the enemy's not on your high ground, but Sniper and Drow are still alive. So it doesn't matter. And here we'll just watch him blow up the Ancient because he earned it. What a fucking Chad. Yeah, Bane goes on him. Who cares? Look at your items. Fuck you. Dead.